I'm your Gemini friend. This video is going to be about North Node in Capricorn or in the 10th house. When it comes to whether it's in the sign or the house, what you want to do is look at the North and South Node as like acting through the personality of the North in Capricorn and the South would be in Cancer. If it is in the 10th house, think of it as like the area of life. This is happening in the 10th house of career and professional legacy for you. I do have a video in the description that's going to be a little more about the North and South Node, but this is going to explain all of the balance, the basically what having your North Node in Capricorn means for you as far as the energy that you're coming into this life with your South Node in Cancer, and you're wanting to work towards that North Node in Capricorn energy. And please recognize everyone's natal chart is totally different. Your energies might be more geared towards the past, the Cancer South Node, or you could have a ton of Capricorn and this isn't as much of an issue for you. But either way, you'll have to look at your own chart to see your very own specific personal picture of this. If you are interested, I do offer personal and synastry readings. But getting into this, okay, so North Node in Capricorn, this one might be a bit of a tough love one, but please understand that you have my full understanding that this one can be a tough one, because when your North Node is in Capricorn or the 10th house, that means that your South Node, where you're coming from, the energy that you're bringing into this life, is heavily influenced by family, home, security, the idea of Cancer things. Cancer is the maternal sign. It's ruled by the moon, and it has a lot to do with the mother and with the family, the roots. It's where we're coming from. Capricorn, it's where we're going. It's our own professional legacy, where the name that we're making for ourselves in this lifetime, what we're doing to really prove ourselves in a higher level and show what it is that we have to offer, making something significant out of our lives. So the biggest thing with this one is that whether it is through family experiences in this lifetime or past life, just heaviness, dealing with an excessive attachment to that security that comes from the home and from the people around us that we relate to very, very heavily. The main thing here is essentially separating yourself from that, not in a way that you are leaving your family behind, but making something of yourself outside of that. This placement can have a real tendency to get stuck within the household family situation, because it tends to be that early on in life you encounter a lot of either drama or people who need you within your family, or you sense that it comes with a lot of negative experiences with family early on, because the purpose of this placement is to push you out of that comfort zone and into more of a professional way of being. And when I say Capricorn, professional, career, all of that, it doesn't mean specifically the traditional sense of work hard, grind. That's not it at all. Especially with the way that the world is shifting now, people are finding completely unique ways to do their own thing. It's very personal to you, and this placement doesn't mean that you're just destined and doomed to work hard and have things be really hard for you. The main thing with Saturn-ruled Capricorn is discipline. That's the thing. It's about finding your own sense of discipline and working towards your goals in a way that gets you out of that rut. And like I said, this placement can indicate issues with one or both of the parents or some sort of family unit type thing, family issues that make you feel tied down, that make you feel like you need to be there for other people, you need to provide emotional support. That is going to be one of the biggest hangups with this placement, because that desire to provide emotional support doesn't just apply to your family. It extends to absolutely everyone. What you have done in past lifetimes, or the energy that you have come into this life with naturally, is highly, highly compassionate. You have worked on feelings and emotions and understanding other people on an emotional level, and really picking up on that strongly in such a strong way that you're probably afraid of hurting other people, or you feel that your own sense of compassion is so strong that you really want to be there for other people. But this can be extremely heavy, and it can lead to a sense of feeling like everybody relies on you. And that's really not the truth. You don't have to be there to coddle people's emotions. In fact, in this lifetime, you're going to find that emotionally heavy situations are actually bad for you. The best thing that you can do is work on your own personal discipline towards goals. You can make goals out of everything. That is the best way to get out of this rut, is to make small goals, make really achievable goals. Start with that, because what happens here with this strong sense of security and being really backed up by your family, especially in past lives, you likely spent a lot of time at home and took care of people and were there for people. You were emotional support. You have built that up so strongly, and you're wonderful at being really emotionally understanding and sympathetic towards people. That's a really high strength for you. And that's why being an authority figure, being in full control of your own life, being a boss even, you have this special ability to naturally not walk all over people. You likely don't want to be in the spotlight. You might not want a position of authority. That might seem like too much and like you'd rather somebody else do it. But that's actually the purpose with this. All of these circumstances and heavy family situations are going to push you into really forging your own path and being strict with yourself about it. And I understand that this can be very difficult with Cancer energy because it's associated with motherhood, it's associated with babies, nurturing. So there can be this tendency to, you can sympathize really easily with other people. You can also likely sympathize really easily with yourself. So in situations where you're feeling upset, you might have more of a tendency to like go inward and just want to be at home and have that protective Cancer crab outer shell for your soft insides. But you will find that emotions are incredibly heavy in this lifetime, and they don't really lead anywhere good, especially when it's like you in solitude, feeling like never let yourself fall into guilt. Never let yourself fall into any of those negative emotions that send us on like a downward spiral. Avoiding that at all costs is going to be really, really helpful. Of course, feel your feelings. There's nothing wrong with feeling your feelings, but when you have a feeling, you're supposed to express it or let it out, cry, whatever it is, and then you move on. This is Capricorn and that more disciplined energy. Capricorn is associated with the skeletal system. It's the backbone. This is structure. Saturn and Capricorn energy is highly structured. It loves to have things to work towards. And when it comes to discipline, the best way that I can understand discipline is imagine that you do have a goal. The energy that you put into everything is always going into various different things, but you want to make sure that you have a significant amount of energy flowing towards that goal. You can see all of the ways where your energy is being directed into other things, and of course have as much going on as you want, but it's really important to have that one strong sense of purpose, something that you want to accomplish. It can change all the time. You can always pick new goals. You can say, if you have a problem and you are despairing about it, instead of spending too much time in those negative emotions, because you know that really doesn't take you anywhere good, it just makes you feel worse. And that's a sign to not do it. That comes with this placement, is the emotions of other people, their issues, all of that is only going to make you feel worse. Because what we're focusing on is building your confidence. That's why choosing small, achievable goals first is really important. Because this sign can absolutely lack confidence, especially in like the more professional arena. So, and it makes sense because you have spent so much, your soul's energy has been more in the home, more in protective places. You have likely had family stand up for you and protection just throughout lifetimes. So that confidence that you can protect yourself and you can stand up for yourself and you can make something for yourself is likely lowered. So the thing that you're going to find the very most in this lifetime, and this is why I say it's a tough love thing, is that nobody is going to be able to solve your problems, but you can. You are the authority. You're the authority in every way that you can possibly be in this lifetime. Nobody knows your life the way that you do. Nobody knows you as intimately as you do. And therefore, you can come up with the best solutions. And the blessing of the Capricorn North Node is that you're actually incredible at this. This gives you great management skills. And like I said before, you have that empathy going into it. You're not going to like bulldoze over people. You're not looking for glory. You're not looking for status. You're looking to make things work. You want everyone to be happy, but making everyone happy in this lifetime is not going to make you happy. You actually need to focus on you. And you will find that all of these negative emotions that you might feel, you can always turn it around into something more productive. Say if you are feeling guilty about something, instead of going over the scenario in your head over and over, make a practical plan to solve the guilt. Say you are afraid that you said something that hurt somebody's feelings. Address it. Talk to the person. Take proactive steps towards your goal of solving it, easing this negative emotion. Emotions, in particular, negative emotions, are a sign that something needs to be done about it, that you're being urged to improve the situation. That's something that Capricorn energy is incredible at, because with that management skill, it can see like all of the little things that need to be done when you back away from the emotions and look at things more objectively. And then your strategizing abilities are incredible. That's just something that comes with this placement. Forward movement. This is the axis. The beginning of the 10th house is the midheaven, and that is, it's our legacy. It's our professional status, what people think about us, our reputation. And opposite that, the Imam Coeli, if I'm saying that right, the IC, the cusp of the 4th house, that's the home. That's where we're coming from. And you always want to be moving forward. Going back into the past, even through memories, nostalgia, really watch that. I have even found, like, while I'm just studying this placement and trying to really understand it on a deeper level, I discovered that this trap of nostalgia, if you go back and you think about memories towards, I found that for me personally, situations that I had sort of a nostalgic feel about, they weren't just quite as rosy as my memories make me feel like they are. Capricorn is practical, it's realistic. Obviously, I'm sure you have wonderful memories. Go back into them as much as it makes you feel like you're getting something positive out of it. If you're getting inspiration out of it, motivation out of it, that's perfectly fine. You can use your feelings and your strong emotional capacity in a very positive way, but it's important not to go into the negative emotions, and it's important not to spend too much time in memories or thinking about the past, because in this lifetime, this energy really just holds you back. And another thing that comes with the Capricorn North Node, that energy being within you, you have the strength to do anything. You have the strength to completely move out of this. You have the strength to be disciplined and work towards your goals, and you have the strength to achieve them. You have incredible luck in the professional sphere. It's set up for you to do good once you do pick a goal, or once you are moving in a forward direction. Things will come to you. Opportunities and just chance happenings will come to you, but it is up to you to recognize them, because another thing that is more difficult for the South Node in the Cancer energy is that this strong understanding and compassion for other people, you are likely not a cutthroat, opportunistic individual, and you actually want to develop more of that. Not the cutthroat, like, don't hurt other people, obviously, but think of yourself in a more achievement-oriented way, and do try to recognize the opportunities that you have, because that sensitivity and kindness can lead to allowing things to just be, because you don't want to hurt other people's feelings, you don't want to step on anyone's toes, you don't want to take opportunities from other people. But if an opportunity comes to you, take it because you deserve it, okay? And there's nothing wrong with wanting to have a safe space to like fall back on and live in, to have a nice home. This doesn't mean that you shouldn't spend any time at home, though it does indicate that working from home might not be as effective, productive for you because of the energy that comes from being in the home. It kind of reminds you and just energetically feels like that old energy that we want to move out of. It is better, even if you're working from home, to like find a different location, maybe somewhere you're not as comfortable in, or to go to a cafe or something where you can work and not have that home energy, you know? But you can build a safe, secure place for yourself, but it needs to be from your own efforts, and it needs to be fairly independent. Not like something that you have made for yourself, not something inherited from your family, not something that they've taken care of. You can accept help to some extent, but make sure that you are always feeling like you're in full control and that you don't owe anybody anything else. Because that is a big thing with the family karma that comes with this, is that you might feel this energy that you just like owe everybody, to be nice to them, to make their feelings better, especially family. But it can be anyone, people close to you, people you barely even know. There is this feeling of just not wanting to upset anyone. And like, there's nothing wrong with that, but this is to your detriment at this point. When it's coming out as your South Node energy, you need to get out of it. It's actually more detrimental to your own happiness and your own success. And you might find with this placement that when it comes to like your career choices, you probably want to steer clear of the more Cancer energy type things, like taking care of children, even real estate or working within homes, like making homes prettier, interior design. Obviously, it depends a lot on your own personal placements, but it is just better in general to move away from that type of thing. Another thing about Cancer, so it's related to the moon. The moon, we think of tides and ebb and flow. It's very free flowing. Cancer energy is described as moody because it shifts so much with emotions. So do take care to notice whether you are allowing other people's moods to shift your mood, whether you're allowing other people's feelings and thoughts and issues to influence your own emotional body. Don't let that happen. One big thing where discipline comes in is in your emotional state. It's actually really important to, when you're experiencing a feeling, just let it fully happen, get it out, and move on. It's really important to do that, because letting these little bits of leftover feelings and allowing other people's issues to just rest inside you, it's like stagnating in your body, and it is just, it gets heavier and heavier, and it traps you more and more and makes you feel less and less confident. And feeling completely confident and able to do things yourself, capable, that's what you want to emphasize. And I know that it can be really hard to, especially with family and people close to us, to let them learn the hard way, but that's what you need to be doing in this lifetime. Is if somebody's really upset about something and you want to fix it for them, you want to handle it for them, don't avoid that. Avoid handling other people's problems. Capricorn energy, it's Saturn. It's like the teacher that teaches things the hard way. You have to do the full process with Saturn. So be that teacher for other people and allow them to experience the full process and reach their own conclusion by themselves, because their life is different from yours. People think in entirely different ways you might not even realize. So that compassion can actually come through as projecting your own feelings of how you would feel in that situation onto another person. So it's really just better to address things directly. Obviously, don't be cold and insensitive, but don't be overly giving. Try to let things be more matter of fact and just get the facts, get the information, and try to make something practical out of it. Goal-oriented, forward-moving in every aspect of life, even with other people's problems. Because people might come to you with problems. That's a thing here, is essentially having the emotional issues of not just yourself but other people, like taking it on as baggage, and you want to avoid that as much as possible. Say your relative keeps coming to you with some particular issue. Instead of sympathizing, instead of allowing them to pour out all of their feelings on you, restrict yourself from giving too much. Be kind, but recognize that it's not your problem, and it's actually going to hurt both of you if you take it on, and if you feed more into it with your strong emotional capabilities. You can actually make the problem grow by feeding into it more sadness or anxiety. You want to be the backbone for people. You want to be a sturdy pillar for them to lean on, but not like a pool of water for them to dive into. And I do have to mention, when it comes to having such strong emotional connections, like to other people, and being able to feel and understand their emotions, there can be, with Cancer energy, a tendency to use that in a more even innocent but manipulative way, where maybe you recognize that if you have a particular reaction, somebody else might be less likely to, whatever it is you're trying to avoid. This can be using your emotions, even without realizing it, to kind of control situations in a negative way that doesn't allow either party to really see the clear picture. Because one thing with this is that when you are lacking in a certain degree of confidence, you might feel that you can't assert yourself, that you can't be more direct and clear. So you might use what is more comfortable and natural to you, which is your emotional reactions. If you find that certain people react in certain ways when you behave certain ways, then there can be more of a tendency to lean into that. And that's something that you want to avoid as well, because that is falling back into that energy, and it's not building you up and showing you your own strength. When it comes to assertion, look at Mars in your chart and see what's going on with your Mars, because this can indicate sometimes a more wounded Mars placement, or a suppressed or more like traumatized action. If it's in like the 12th house or the 8th house, it's a possibility. And I mean, I sympathize with that, because this can even have the potential of like past lives where you relied on family and they like left you out in the cold, didn't take care of you in the way that you needed. This can definitely come from like past life wounding, but this is why it's extra important to prove to yourself that you are the one who can pick yourself up, and that you're the one that can take care of things. It's just important you can feel how you're going to feel, but always allow other people to also very genuinely feel their feelings. Because if you do act in a way that you might like subconsciously know that they're going to react in a particular way if you do one thing, and it can be a form of avoidance. So don't avoid other people's emotional responses. Just avoidance in general can be an issue with this placement, because you might not feel like you have all the answers, and nobody does, but you might feel especially unprepared, like you really need things laid out for you and you need a lot of support. But I'm telling you, I promise you, you are highly capable. That is what comes with this balance, with this. But if you look like deep inside you, don't you have that strong authoritative part? You might keep it to yourself. You might use it in a different way. Maybe you see other people and how they live their lives, and you think of how you would do something better. Or you see a mismanaged project and you know exactly what would be the better way to do it. In these cases, it's really important to speak up if it's a situation where that's applicable, but don't worry about other people and what they're doing and how they're doing it. This sense of control is something that you can use for yourself, and you can use to manage your own life in the exact way that you want to. I promise you, you have incredible capability to do like absolutely anything. This is one of the strongest North nodes for potential just in general. It's like you are destined to be fortunate in your career in the public eye, so long as you don't fall back into the South Node tendencies, so long as you can work through and above that. And I don't mean for this to sound overwhelming, because like I said, small goals, just little tiny goals to begin with, anything that you're working on, wanting to work towards, you can turn it into a goal. For example, say you have a habit that you don't enjoy, okay? What can you do to prevent that habit? What can you do to set yourself up to do better? Like, everything is about setting yourself up to improve these things instead of sitting back in them and just stewing in it, you know? And if you do find that you are going like back into past memories or disassociating from life in general, that is just a sign that you're unhappy with your present and you can improve it. You can always take steps to improve it, and you are more equipped than anyone to do so. Because you have a really strong, like, intuitive managerial sense. Like, your sense of business might seem like a foreign world, but just more generally speaking, your ability to manage and create something structured and wonderful out of something that isn't being managed properly, it's profound. You have extremely strong intuition in this way. Like, you just intuitively know what would improve things. So it's really important to use that on yourself and to not put other people first and to not worry about hurting their feelings, because I promise you're going to have a compassionate response. You are naturally coming at it in a more sensitive way than most people are. In fact, you might be hurt often by people betraying your assumptions of what you think that they should have done in that situation due to being a kinder person than probably most people. This can even lead to, like, being upset by people in authority, like bosses and situations like that, because they're mismanaging things, because they didn't treat those under them like humans, like you would have. That's why you need to be in that authoritative position, because you can handle it so much better than people who just want glory and money, you know? Capricorn is very associated with money, earning money, and building up and financial stability. And since you're coming from the direct opposite direction, most likely don't have that, like, money-hungry energy. You're more into making things work for everybody, for, like, the greater good, in a much more balanced way than just pure Capricorn energy going into it. But there is a huge need to just embrace the process. Like, the process is going to be a huge thing because it takes work to get to your achievements, but that's what it's like with Saturn. Saturn makes us do things the slow way, the hard way, so that we have a very strong foundation, so that we have had all of the experiences to make us feel ready to reach that point. So by enjoying the process and understanding that every single step you take is just another step working your way up there, and it's making your foundation stronger, you can really learn to appreciate and, like, celebrate the process. Same thing with goals. Celebrate your wins. Celebrate when you win. Really emphasize that to yourself, like, build yourself up and understand, like, you did it. That was an accomplishment. Be proud of yourself. Even if it's very minor, it's important to build that sense of confidence and being proud in yourself, because you deserve it. I understand how difficult things like this can be with this placement. So any little thing where you're, like, going against your natural inclinations and you have worked hard despite definitely not wanting to, really embrace that sense of pride and pat yourself on the back. Because recognizing your accomplishments and, like, just taking care of yourself, self-care is really important with this energy, because self-care is very important with Capricorn energy. Capricorn energy can absolutely neglect self-care, and opposite that, Cancer energy doesn't necessarily go overboard and also self-care. They tend to take care of other people. So, like, just look at the situation and understand where you fall and what you are getting out of your own energy. Is your energy going into other people? Is it going internally into negative things? Put as much energy as you possibly can into building yourself up in every way that you enjoy. Like, self-care is doing things that make you feel like yourself, like you're affirming your own identity, your sense of self. You're doing the things that make you feel happy, things that do take extra consideration, because even if it does feel like you're taking care of yourself, like, all day, if you're spending time more in, like, your own secure space, Are you though? Like, are you taking care of yourself emotionally, mentally? Are you doing things that make you feel happier, better about yourself? Those are self-care things. If you're taking the time to do things that make you feel worse or worse about yourself, cut those things out. Replace them with better habits. Just think in this situation, okay, I've been doing this. I feel like I have to do this. I feel guilty. I feel shame. I feel like I'm not doing enough for other people. Like all of that, it's not helpful. What in that situation would make you feel better? What would make you feel better about yourself? Even if it is like talking to another person because you are worried if you've upset them or something, like clear the air, absolutely. Anything that will improve the situation. Always be looking for improvements that you can make because there is always something that you can do, especially if it's something that makes you feel more strong and capable. Like if you're lacking in some area that you would rather be better in, work on that skill. You're taking care of yourself to make yourself more of an ideal for you in your own personal opinion. Like, don't worry about other people's opinions in this lifetime. It doesn't matter. It's only going to weigh you down. You do deep inside, you have a sense of who you are, what you want to be, what you want people to see you as. So work towards that, because the more energy that you put into yourself in a positive way, the more strength you're going to have in this idea of yourself, the more you're able to improve. Think improvement and goals. Like in any situation where you're having an issue, there's always something that can be improved. Even if it's a very little minor thing, it's extremely personal. Whatever it is to you, that's the right answer. Seriously, don't worry about anything outside of you as far as projections and opinions go, because you don't need that protection anymore. The security that comes from Cancer energy is typically having a support system, having a strong outer shell, having a safe place to be when you're feeling unsafe. And I'm so serious. Don't neglect taking care of yourself. Don't focusing on like only work, only productivity. That is not something good. I don't think that's good for anybody, but the foundation that you need to be building is all of your own making. When you build up these muscles of like personal strength and capability and understanding that you really can do things, you're setting yourself up for the future in a good way. And honestly, anything that you can do for like public accolades, acknowledgement, and like credit being given to you, embrace it. Take it. It's yours. You earned it. If people are recognizing things that you're doing, really take that in and like, you're special. You've done that. You've accomplished it. Embrace it. Celebrate it. And another thing that can come with this past energy is the idea of blame. So really take care not to place blame on anyone or anything, not on yourself, not on like your parents, anything like that. Don't bother with that. It's really not productive. That's that past. It's not forward thinking. You can acknowledge it, make of it what it is, but move forward. Find something that you can do to improve it, or work towards improving it, or at least work towards feeling better about it, or even just moving on completely. But moving on can be a big thing for this placement. It's like negative memories are like shackles from the past just holding you back. You want to move forward and you want to remove as much that is holding you back as you possibly can. But this can indicate like procrastination. I mean, just think right now, is there something that you want to be doing? Something big picture that you want to work towards? How much effort are you putting into working towards it? I understand. I understand. I'm a huge procrastinator, but it is especially important when your North Node is in Capricorn or the 10th house that you're working towards something whenever you're feeling that like unsatisfied, stagnant feeling. Constant productivity, like I talked about self-care. Obviously, you don't have to be constantly doing something, but when you're feeling distressed, when you're feeling like you could be doing something else, like if it's something that in that moment really would be a good thing to do, just do it. Just do it. It's pushing yourself to just do it. There's kind of no way around it. But I promise you that it's going to be so worth it, because you are able to do these things better than the average person by far. You have like such strong capabilities. It's like robbing the world of your beautiful creations, of whatever it is you're going to make of yourself. Don't you want others to be able to see that too? It's hard. This one is in Capricorn. Capricorn is not an easy sign. It takes a lot of effort and energy to put into something. It takes that discipline. But seriously, it's the little things. Just take the smallest thing that you could possibly do. Like, seriously, if you have the goal of creating the most massively gorgeous garden that people come from all over to see and recognize this beautiful garden, start looking at seeds. Just like take the smallest little step that you possibly can. Don't overwhelm yourself. Like, this can definitely be an overwhelming thing to go through, but just take the tiniest little step that you can, because you'll find that momentum. Momentum is big here. I think Cancer is associated with the Chariot card. I'm not exactly sure what this association is. I don't know tarot cards that well and like the energy behind them, but I'm just thinking of momentum and the Chariot card being ruled by Cancer. So maybe take something out of that. And when it comes to relationships with people, the only thing that I think is incredibly important with this placement when it comes to relationships is to make sure that the other person is not put up on that like authority pedestal. You need to be somebody who doesn't defer to another person. Like, if you're in a relationship and the other person is taking care of you, if the other person like has more say, or you feel like they are the authority, please don't get into that and don't allow it. Like, if somebody were to behave in that way, like treating you like that, don't even go there. But if it's something that you are allowing, if it's something that you are like even creating, like, okay, this person can take care of me. This person gets to call the shots and they'll just tell me what to do and I'll just do it. Like, please don't do that. I'm not saying that you need to be the authority in the relationship. Have a equal, mutual, happy relationship. That's just the one thing to watch out for. Really important not to rely on your partner, because it will backfire. You need to be building up your own strength and making sure that you feel fully capable within the relationship and out of it. And if you feel that you are like feeling distanced from other people, this can come sometimes through, so the strong sensitivity of Cancer, sometimes it can actually like kind of repel other people's emotions to the point where you're not even really processing what they're really saying or feeling. So your responses are likely going to be your own response, like how you would respond in that situation. And sometimes it can be like difficult and painful or just really sensitive. So there can be like a total disconnect when it comes to even listening to other people, because Cancer, it's a very protective sign. It can actually like preemptively avoid things that it doesn't want to face. It's just important in any connection that you do very actively listen to them. Really listen to what they're saying. Make sure that you are comprehending it and understanding it from their point of view. Like, ask questions, get a really strong understanding, because the more that you get a strong understanding of other people, their feelings, and where they're coming from, the better you will be able to connect with them. Obviously, don't get weighed down in their problems. Don't over empathize with them. Don't get sucked into that. But there just is a tendency with this placement to be more wrapped up in your own emotions and not able to see the totally different ways that other people could feel about situations. So making those connections, it can really help you grow, like in relationships, and honestly, just being more yourself, going towards your goals, your achievements, what you want to be accomplishing. That is going to earn you more respect. Because one thing with this placement, like when you have this issue with over-identifying with other people's problems and being weighed down by them, it can attract a lot of messy people, a lot of needy people. So you might find that you keep interacting with these sorts of people. So there is a strong need to listen actively and understand them, but at the same time, always have that improvement focus. Because if you do go back into the Cancer, it's just going to be a mess of feelings. And it's so important in this lifetime to build up yourself first before you are getting really caught up in other people. Obviously, you're not destined to be like alone or anything. it's just very important to focus on independence in order to build that strong foundation. So then you can welcome other energies into your life because you have built that structure. You've got the strength to actually handle them in a more mature, responsible way than you would if you were going about it in that more emotional way. There can even be a tendency when like somebody comes to you with an issue, you might want to take care of them. You might want to take the burden off of them. But even if it's like, but this can even be like superficial, like you have a desire, a genuine care to give to this person, but it just makes things kind of messy because like you might want to solve whatever this is and they weren't even feeling that way. It's just like feelings are messy in this lifetime. Don't bother with too much of that. Focus on constructive situations. There can absolutely be a need to distance yourself from family or from people who are holding you back, people who are bringing too much unnecessary drama into your life. Whatever it is that makes you feel capable and have that sense of responsibility over your own life and yourself, figure out that ideal situation for you and work towards it. Because you likely have this sense of like greater destiny in life. Like you have this incredible path that you're meant to follow, and you are. Like I'm telling you right now, yes, you have an incredible something that you are ready, wanting to build. Your soul wants to build something great. This placement comes with a legacy, but you have to build it. Nobody else is going to help you with it. I'm sorry, but this lifetime is about building independence. But the result of solving your problems on your own, now you know that you can. It's the most empowering thing that you can possibly do for yourself. And I promise you that you're strong enough for it. Your emotional intelligence, use it for the greater good. This is one of the biggest things that can like get you bogged down is having such strong emotional intelligence. You're likely seeing and understanding things in such a deep level that you're overcomplicating situations, making them much more than they need to be. So avoid emotional overthinking and avoid comfort zones. Because seriously, the blessing with this is that you're going to get all of the direction. You're going to intuitively know everything that you need to in order to reach whatever goal it is that you choose that you want to work towards. You have that. You have that. And think, it's always better. It's always better to try than to regret not trying. It's important, especially with Capricorn placements. This sort of thing tends to like age like fine wine, where things get better as you get older, as you get the experience that Capricorn energy needs. It truly is one of those signs that it just gets better with age. So make sure you are achieving the things that you want to in a timely manner. And then I'm promise, I'm telling you, like, it's going to be incredible. Whatever you put your work and effort into has the power to grow like 1,000,000 times more than average. Just take control where you can. Like if your moods are all over the place, find a way to regulate it. If people are coming at you, spilling their problems all over you, find a way to distance yourself, or find a way to set up boundaries. Let them know that you're not about that. But ultimately, trust your own authority, trust your own sense of capability, knowing where you're going. You are ready. You're not any less ready than other people. Like adults, what do we know? Who knows what they're doing? Like you choose what you're doing and then you work towards it. Nobody has a set of rules. This placement can really come with feeling like everybody else has a set of rules that you don't. But like, no, we don't. We don't. But you kind of do. Like you have like a natural rule set inside you. So long as they're working towards positive, overall positivity. So that's the message with this placement. Goals and working towards a better future. I know that this can really be a tough one, and I promise it's fully sympathize. Though interestingly enough, I also know, for example, somebody I'm very close to with Capricorn in, how do I say it? With North Node in the 10th house, but also an impressive amount of Capricorn. Like, you might not struggle to some degree. There will be some degree where you fall on this. If you get cut off from family really early on, you might not have to struggle as much. in this security type of way. But if family is heavy and ever present, it's time to separate yourself from that, rise above that, and make something incredible of yourself, what you feel like you're meant to do. I'm gonna stop it here. I didn't mean for this to be a pep talk, but yeah, it sometimes comes out like that. So anyway, let me know what you think. Very curious with this placement. And that is all I have to say there. So thank you. I love you. Bye.